The sentence I wasn't supposed to hear came on a Thursday in February, 2 years after that first card. A canceled meeting put me home early. Naomi's car was in the driveway. I was hanging my coat near our bedroom when I caught the tail of a sentence through the closed door. He still doesn't suspect anything, so we're fine for now. I went still. Naomi laughed, easy, unbothered, and said, I just need a few more months and the Sunridge loan will be paid down enough it won't show up weird on the next pull. I didn't go in. I put my coat back on and sat in my car in our own driveway for 11 minutes, trying to breathe normally. Sunridge. I'd seen that name somewhere, in credit alerts I'd half stopped reading. At a coffee shop, I dug through my banking app for 40 minutes before I found it. A personal loan, $8,200, opened 14 months earlier. I'd never seen a statement. The alert email, I discovered, had been quietly redirected, one character off from my real address. I went home and made dinner because my hands needed something ordinary to do. We ate, talked about nothing. I waited until the dishes were done. What's the Sunridge loan? I asked finally. A flicker crossed her face, fast, controlled, before it arranged into confusion. The what? I have no idea what you're talking about. I heard you, on the phone, today, with your mother. The room went quiet. What did you hear? You said, he still doesn't suspect anything. She didn't crumble. You were eavesdropping on me, accusing me based on half a sentence through a door? Then explain the loan. I can't explain a loan I didn't know existed. Someone's doing this to us, and instead of being on my side, you're interrogating me. She cried. Real tears, same as the car, 2 years before. I felt the old instinct to apologize rise in my throat. I didn't say it. We went back and forth for 2 hours. By the end, she'd extracted a promise that we'd call Sunridge together in the morning. I agreed. I lay awake until 4 a.m. on one word. He, not somebody. He. The call to Sunridge confirmed what I feared. The application used Naomi's real information, not a stranger's guesses. The funds had gone, via deposit, to an account at Heritage Trust. I looked at Naomi. That's the bank Mom uses, she said, before I'd even asked. It's not exactly exotic. A good answer, true on its surface, impossible to disprove. We need to talk to your mom, I said. You think my mother is doing this? After everything she sacrificed for us? We drove to Diane's that Saturday in silence. She answered the door in a cardigan, candle smell thick in the entryway. When I said Sunridge and Heritage Trust, her face arranged itself into wounded disbelief so total it made my own certainty waver. I have never, she said, hand at her chest, voice trembling, opened a single account in my daughter's name. I would sooner die. Naomi turned to me, furious and loyal. Apologize to her, right now. I'm not apologizing for asking a direct question. You just accused my mother of fraud with nothing to back it up, except a bank name you don't even understand. I stood there, surrounded by candle smoke, looking at two women whose outrage looked, from outside, indistinguishable from the real thing. I had a name, a number, a sentence I'd heard with my own ears. Against all of it, I had two women crying, and 4 years of believing love and trust were the same instrument. I apologized that night. Not fully, I didn't take back what I'd heard, but I softened it into stress, fear, and imagination running ahead of the facts. Diane accepted with gracious, wounded magnanimity. Naomi didn't speak to me the rest of the drive home. I told myself I'd pushed too hard without enough proof. So thoroughly it would take 6 more months, and a discovery far worse than Sunridge before I trusted my own ears again. In the months after, I started keeping a private folder, not on our shared laptop, but on an old phone in a drawer at my office, logged into an account Naomi didn't know existed. I told myself it was for safety. I didn't examine the deeper truth. I no longer trusted my own wife enough to investigate in the open. It would take one more incident, bigger than all the others combined, to finally collapse the distance between what I suspected and what I was willing to act on.